The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on Tom's Radio Toronto are entirely those of the hosts, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of Tom's Radio Toronto or its staff. These broadcasts are presented and made public as entertainment and general information only, in the hope that they will be entertaining and informative to listeners. They are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or mitigate in any way any disease or condition, or to promote any specific lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice, nor is the information presented necessarily accurate or verifiable.
Alright, we're live.
Now?
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, a good afternoon to you, and welcome to The Wisdom Show. My name is Bruce Gilbert, and we have a special guest today. We'll get to our guest in a moment. What is The Wisdom Show, you ask? We are dedicated to understanding, acquiring, and mastering wisdom to explore how to enrich ourselves and better society. Not bad, don't you think? Initially, we survey the world's most famous and ancient book of wisdom, the biblical book of Proverbs. Now, I know when a lot of you hear the word Bible, you dismiss it, you say things, oh, it's got slavery in it, it's old-fashioned, it doesn't have iPhones in it. We're coming to challenge that, to turn you on to biblical literacy, to turn you on to wisdom, which, believe you me, this century knows technology and data and knowledge. They don't know wisdom. And please tune in to learn a little wisdom. There's, if we lack wisdom, or the people around us lack wisdom and make mistakes in our life's choices, often then psychological counseling is required. Makes sense, yeah? And that's just to get to the stage of being a responsible person. If we lack good psychological foundation and we can't get that together, they might prescribe medication. Please note, and I'm a former tribunal judge on disability hearings, please note the next steps in a life void of wisdom could be depression, substance abuse, poverty, homelessness, arrest, and even imprisonment. I'm getting a little heavy, but that's the reality out there. Our show aims to try to give our serious and consistent viewers an advantage in life over your peers and over our peers by teaching you ancient but eternal wisdom from the original and best sources. We start our study from about 3,000 years ago until about a century ago in terms of the commentaries. Our show is for those who would rather be wise than woke. Tell your friends I said that. Now, I am very happy to introduce a man who has scaled the heights of industry to the heights of geography. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest presenter, Gord Acham.
Thank you very much, Bruce. It's my pleasure to be here.
My pleasure having. I'm going to read a beautiful biography. Gord, who is Gord Acham? You certainly must be wondering by now.
Actually, I pronounce it Acham.
When did you change yours?
It's okay.
Gord Acham is a former investment advisor. He's a former senior private banker for Canada's wealthy. He's semi-retired. And get this, what I said about scaling the heights. He's a past trekker of Annapurna in Nepal, Milford Sound in New Zealand, and Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. And get this, coming attractions. Gord leaves this September for his first Camino Santiago de Compostela from the French Pyrenees to the Atlantic across the north of Spain.
Yes, that's from the French Pyrenees all the way across the north of Spain to the Atlantic Ocean. So I believe it's about 890 kilometers, and it's also known as a pilgrimage. But I'm going to walk it with the other pilgrims, and I really look forward to that.
Let's talk about it for a minute, because
Sure.
this is a strange hobby. How many days do you think you'll be trekking?
Well, I'm setting aside about a month and a half. I was originally supposed to go to Israel, and I wanted to hike what's known as the Israel National Trail from the north by Mount Hermon, right up on the Lebanese border, down south to Jerusalem. However, Israel, due to COVID, they're having a really hard strain of the Delta variant, and they're not admitting individual tourists into Israel. So I'm not able to get into Israel, and I had to reschedule my airfare. And this year I will do in the fall the El Camino de Santiago, and I look forward to that.
Well, I hope you'll be presenting another chapter of Sefer Mishlei from the trail.
Well, there'll be a lot of wisdom to gather from hiking 890 kilometers.
I
by
can't walk
foot.
to the grocery store on a good day, so fine.
Before you go on, I
Yes, sir.
want to thank you for inviting me back. Last week I was here, but off in the shadows. It was Alan P. Wellman's week, and I was sitting off to the side, and I was giving commentary from the side. It was such an interesting chapter of Mishlei, of Proverbs last week, that I just said, wow, this is so much fun.
Also,
And
it's the most underrated book around.
yes,
Yeah, for
absolutely. And I gained wisdom from last week.
And if Gord can gain wisdom, then certainly anyone, certainly we can.
But hold on, last week we were talking about the hot, salacious
Oh, yeah.
ideas of prostitution, and how a king is telling his son, beware of the prostitute that lurks, or the woman of
The harlot.
the harlot. So, after that, like, why wouldn't I come back?
We're going to scale a summit right now. Okay, so chapter 8 of Proverbs, get your Bibles ready, and I'm going to read it straight through. Then we'll come back and try to attack it verse by verse. There's approximately 30 verses in it. So let's go with this particular. And I want you to know, how can you tell someone's doing their homework if their book's falling apart? That's a true sign.
Either means they're doing their homework, or they just don't take care of their books.
Yeah, well, look at the notes.
It's
Look at
a
that.
lot of notes.
Okay, so chapter 8. Does not wisdom call, and understanding raise its voice? Atop the heights, by the way, where the paths meet, it takes its stand. Beside the gates, at the entrance of the city, at the entrance of the portals, it declaims, to you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of man. O you simpletons, understand sagacity, and you fools, understand with a self-disciplining heart. Listen, for I will speak noble matters, and the opening of my lips shall be righteousness. For my palate shall utter truth, while wickedness is abomination to my lips. As the sayings of my mouth are in righteousness, there is nothing crooked or perverse in them. They are all plain to one who understands, and right to those who find knowledge. Receiving my moral instruction, and not silver, knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than pearls, and all things desirable cannot be compared to her. I, wisdom, dwell with sagacity, and find knowledge of knowledge of perspicacity. The fear of Hashem, that's God, is the hating of evil, pride, and arrogance, and the evil way, and the mouth of treacherous fickleness. Fickleness. I killed that sentence. The fear of God is the hating of evil, pride, and arrogance, and the evil way, and the mouth of treacherous fickleness I hate. Wise planning is mine, and providential action. I am understanding, power is mine. By me do kings reign, and rulers decree justice. By me do princes govern, and nobles, all the judges of the earth. I love those who love me, and those who seek me eagerly shall find me. Riches and honor are with me, timeless wealth and righteousness. My fruit is better than gold, even then fine gold, and my produce than choice silver. I walk in the way of righteousness, within the paths of justice, to endow with substance those who love me, and that I may fill my treasuries. God made me as the beginning of his way, the first of his processes of old. I was enthroned from primordial antiquity, from the start, before the very origins of the earth. When there were no depths, I was brought forth, when there was no fountains abounding with water. Before the mountains were hard cast, before the hills I was brought forth, while he had not yet made the earth, nor the fields, nor the first of the dust of the world. When he established the heavens, I was there. When he drew a circle upon the face of the deep, when he made firm the high heavens above, when the fountains of the deep grew mighty, when he set for the sea his decree that the waters should not transgress, his commandments when he decreed the fountains of the earth. Then I was beside him as a nursling, and I was his delight day by day, played before him at all times, and playing in the habitable world of his earth. And having my delights with the sons of men. And now, O children, listen to me, and happy are those who keep my ways. Hear moral instruction and become wise, and do not refuse it. Happy is the man who listens to me, watching at my doors day after day, waiting at the posts of the entrances, for whoever finds me finds life, and obtains favor of God. But he who sins against me does violence in his own soul. All who hate me love death.
Wow, there is so much there to unpack.
This is our, you know what? We are the unpackers.
We are. And, going back again to last week, while it was salacious and talked about the prostitute and the woman that entices, that is enticing and can lead one astray, this week has such a positive feel to it. There's the understanding and the wisdom that you can get. In fact, wisdom introduces itself to us in this chapter.
It's feminine.
Wisdom, she introduces herself to us in this chapter. So it's amazing, and I'm dying to dive in.
Ladies and gentlemen, chapter 8, verse 1. Take it away, Gordy.
So one of the ideas that Alan said last week was that the prostitute, she would lead the young man astray to like a physical death and to a spiritual death. And that was one idea, differentiating between physical and spiritual. Physical in the sense that the punishment for adultery is in Bible times was death, was death, and but yet I think last week they were talking about more spiritual ideas, and in wisdom to gain knowledge, and the spiritual ideas can lead you away from such death, both spiritual and physical. But this week, we start with does not wisdom call? And understanding put forth her voice. So yes, you are right. Wisdom is in a way saying, hey, I'm here. You were talking about the prostitute last week, but I call, and here I am, and I'm going to put forward my voice. And where do we find wisdom? And it's interesting because where the ideas in last week's chapter, prostitution and was found in darkness and in hidden places. If we go to last week's chapter, it says, in the twilight of the evening and the blackness of night and the darkness. Whereas in this week's chapter, it says you can find wisdom in the top of the high places, by the way, where the paths meet, she standeth, beside the gates of the entrance to the city, and the coming in at the doors, she crieth aloud. So wisdom is in open places. Wisdom is for all to see. And it's, in a way, it's like life experience. We gain life experience in our everyday
Life experience and the open places. Ladies and gentlemen, now a word from our sponsors.
Our company is committed to providing truthful, honest, competent, and result-oriented service through advising and representing our clients in Canada and overseas in a wide range of immigration matters. We focus on providing support, building dependable relationships, and promoting success. We are dedicated to understanding what results you want and to helping you understand what actions we can take on your behalf.
about light and beauty and wisdom and Gord Acham.
Yes, so the last points we were making in verses 2, 3, and 4, wisdom is on the tops of high places where paths meet and intersect, and at the gates of the city. These are all open places, whereas last week, as we said, the prostitute enticed the young man in darkness, in hiding places almost. So there's a clear differentiation. Wisdom's in public, whereas darkness and evil lurk where you really shouldn't go. So I really like that.
I want to add something to it. I don't have all the time in the world to go deep on every word,
Yes.
but the depth is available. And each of the four things at the heights, where the paths meet the intersection, it takes a stand. That's really three references. Beside the gates, fourth. At the entrance to the city is debatable if that's a fifth. And at the entrance to the portals, which I don't know what it is a sixth.
Those are doors.
Okay, but the point is each one denotes a different level of depth and a different, I don't know if to say a different circumstance.
Sure.
Typically when they say the gates, that's where the judges meet.
Well, let me
Settle
ask you,
matters.
have you ever been to the old city of
I
Jerusalem?
lived in it for 2 years.
And at Damascus Gate.
Yeah, it's bigger.
A lot of people meet at the gates of the city. It's an open place. And even in the Torah, in the Bible, when it talks about Abraham and Lot, Lot is sitting at the gates of the city. That's Sodom and Gomorrah, mind you. But
It's an easy, not trademark, what do you call it? It's easy,
it's where people meet.
yeah, there's a word for it, not milestone,
Okay,
okay,
come back to
yeah,
it.
fine.
So now we move on from making that realization of public places is where you find wisdom, or you can gain wisdom in your everyday life by noticing it and observing it. And now the verse.
That's a big contradiction to what I'm trying to do here.
Okay.
What I'm trying to do is teach people. It's easier. I always say it's easier to learn from books than learn from others' mistakes, which is certainly easier than your own mistakes.
Sure, but we all do make mistakes, and we should learn from our own mistakes.
This is the point for sure. That's easy.
Yes.
Learning from the book is where the challenge is.
Okay. Okay, so now we're looking at, unto you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of men. So I'm reading from the Sonsino, and that is differentiating between men and sons of men. There is some discussion that men are people of stature, and sons of men are just everybody else, people of all classes. So this is a call out to everybody. And then it says, O ye thoughtless, understand prudence, and ye fools, be ye of an understanding heart.
Do you see the word for the initial fool, the initial simpleton? You see the Hebrew?
Go ahead.
Patim.
Pati, okay.
What's the root of that word?
Put?
Putz. No, close. Close. This is my guess.
Yeah.
It's pita.
Pita?
So I translate the simple as breadheads.
Okay.
If you order a falafel and a pita, that's the word we're using here.
I'm going with putts. But here I would say we've got the words thoughtless, understanding, prudence. It's like we want to, prudence, caution. We want to take caution. And ye fools, people that don't have the knowledge of wisdom, be ye of an understanding heart. You want to gain like intellect. And wisdom is something to be attained by you. And then verses 6 through 10, let's say, we're dealing with, it's kind of a build-up, I think. Hear, for I will speak excellent things. So this is wisdom talking to us. She's giving us her introduction. And the opening of my lips shall be the right things. Wisdom's going to tell us exactly what we need to know. For my mouth shall utter truth. And what is that? Emet in the Hebrew. We are going to hear the truth from Lady Wisdom. And wickedness is the abomination to my lips. And Lady Wisdom is not going to give us wickedness. It's an abomination to her. All the words of my mouth are in righteousness. The idea of righteousness and justice come up again and again when we're talking about wisdom, or when wisdom talks.
I want to go back one
Sure.
inch. The Malbim, 19th century Prague, I guess we'll say. And in my notes, you can see it. I started doing a chart.
Look, he made notes.
He takes the four key words: speak, say, rational, and esoteric. He then brings to a deeper meaning and a simpler meaning. I saw that I had to go over this 2 or 3 times to complete the chart. But what I want to point out, the depth in text. If I were writing a commentary on the book of Proverbs, I would call it I would underline the word comma in commentary, because it's all list of 2 or 3 or 4 things, and they all mean something like that.
Sure.
I'll get a better
I got to
example
say,
coming
when
up.
you did the initial read through,
Yeah.
it just
Gibberish.
doesn't stick. But when we go through it and talk it through and read through and understand it, there's so much wisdom and meaning here.
It's better, frankly, when you go through it 3 or 4 times.
My name's not Frank.
Surely.
You're right. It's definitely better when you go over it and understand it. So wisdom continues.
What verse are you on?
I'm on 8. All the words of my mouth, and it's a continuation of, the sentence above was with her lips, and now lips are with the mouth, and all the words of my mouth are in righteousness. And righteousness is betzedek. Tzedek is the word in Hebrew. There is nothing...
What's the word for charity?
Tzedakah.
Oh, is there a connection, perhaps?
Perhaps,
Okay.
perhaps. All the words of my mouth are in righteousness. There is nothing perverse or crooked in them. So she's telling us the truth, the emes, the way it is. They are all plain to him that understandeth. So once you understand these ideas, concepts of wisdom, they're plain to you. It's, wow, why didn't I see that before? It was there right in front of me. But you have to understand these concepts first. And write to them that find knowledge. So there we have where righteousness and knowledge, they often go hand in hand.
To do this with greater time, we'd go into the Hebrew of those 2
Sure.
words. That's the commas, everything in this book.
Sure. So now 10 and 11 kind of go together, I find. Receive my instruction and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. So we've got items of wealth here. Silver is silver and gold are both items of wealth, but they're saying, receive my instruction. So wisdom is teaching us, and she's comparing silver and gold to instruction and knowledge.
Do you have a deeper understanding of those, of silver, gold, and pearls? Because I do. I have them here. I did my homework. I got them here. Would you like me to tell you?
Please, go right ahead.
So this comes up often. It came up a few chapters ago. So what he's saying, when I was a kid, older men would refer to silver in your pocket. Do you remember that?
I do.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that change. I grew up, but I heard silver.
Okay.
What he's talking about, silver, the issue of silver as I'll call it a weaker, not fine metal. What's the investment term? Not rare.
Silver and gold are both commodities that...
Okay, anyway. So silver is what you can buy things with, but gold you store away for
It's known
later.
as a storehouse of value.
What the 2 are? Or
Gold.
gold?
Primarily
Is that it?
gold,
That's
sure.
okay. That's very good. The storehouse of value. So what's pearls then? If we said okay.
Something you give your wife on an anniversary.
You're getting close. You're really close.
That's wisdom.
What he's saying is, he gets different on the different things. Pearls is what you adorn yourself with to show people there's something attractive there. Now, there's another thing in the 3rd chapter. He references comparing gold, silver, and pearls. I forget what gold and silver were in that concept of pearls. The trick of pearls, and I'll give a negative example. The trick of pearls is that if you're comparing problems of gold, problems of silver, and problems of pearls, with pearls as a string of one problem, if you're, let's say, overweight, that problem leads to an organ misfunction. And that organ misfunction might lead to an imminent death, which might lead to orphans of your children and poverty. The string of pearls, you getting it? That's
Bruce,
the analogy.
this is a pearls of wisdom.
Pearls of wisdom.
Wow.
So he says another thing here also with the gold, silver, and pearls. Gold is he says gold is mined. It's a rare thing to find. Silver is more easily mined, which I don't.
Which is why silver has a lower value than
Oh,
gold.
is it? Oh, very good, very good. He said, but pearls are of another world, so to speak, by being under the sea.
Interesting.
They're of a different category.
And to round out silver and gold, we have for wisdom is better than rubies, even.
I missed it.
A precious gem. And all things desirable are not to be compared unto her. So
You're reading that in the translation?
that's how
Or the commentary.
Sunsino actually translates it.
I don't have pearls. I don't have rubies at all. Not at all.
Okay. Okay.
fine.
But let's move on
Yeah.
because I think we beat that horse to death. and we see that wisdom's giving us a value judgment on wisdom versus precious things that are commodities. And now, give me a drum roll, Bruce. Ani Chochma, who shows up? But it actually says, I, wisdom, am here. I, wisdom, she's introducing herself. She says, I, wisdom, dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of devices. So what does prudence mean? I take prudence as caution. So first of all, in Hebrew it says, Ani Chochma, here I am wisdom. I dwell with prudence. So, caution. I think anybody that acts quickly and just jumps into something without thinking it through, that's not using wisdom or intelligence.
It's like starting the wisdom show.
It's like we prepare when we start the wisdom show, right? We've at least read it. So
I don't want to talk about it.
so here wisdom's introducing herself, Ani Chochma, and she's saying, I dwell with prudence, with caution, and find out knowledge of devices. So knowledge is everywhere, but you just have to find it. And then number 13, sentence 13, in my opinion, might be the climax of this entire first book of Proverbs. And it's not the first time we've seen this comment in the Bible. It is Yerat Adonai, Yeras Hashem, the fear of the Lord is to hate evil. Wow. Like she's like laying it all out on the line there. Pride and arrogancy, the evil way, and the forward mouth do I hate. So what is she saying there? Yeras Hashem, to fear, the fear of the Lord. What does fear of the Lord mean? I think it's not like the fear of the bully, like I'm afraid of you. It's to be in awe. It's like to recognize that you are nothing. You are merely a mortal man, and you can't even begin to understand the Lord, the Creator. You are so small and nothing and humble. And the Lord, the Creator, Hashem, is so far beyond your comprehension and understanding. You're in awe of.
So let me add two thoughts to that.
Sure.
And I did this in chapter 6, and I quoted Bob Dylan's song.
Okay.
Because whenever you can quote a Bob Dylan song,
Why not?
you ought to, right?
Like a Rolling Stone.
So I see that if you look at this as strata of figures, strata of society, if you fear God, there's no fear of others. No fear. There's no fear of other people. Mm-hmm. You can also there's no haughtiness of yourself. There's no arrogance of
You're
yourself.
putting down your own arrogance, right?
And your comrades, but by putting the one fear at the top outside of humanity. So in Dylan's song, you got to serve somebody. You can be a this, you can be a that. That's how I relate to this verse.
I hear that, and I think it's wisdom to understand that you don't know everything, and that the Lord, the Creator, that created the world from nothing, we don't have. We can learn science, we can learn the way of the world, we can learn the Bible, but we still don't have like a minute quantity of knowledge that to create the world, the creator of the world would have.
You're hinting at verses to come.
Yes, and then it gets
You're foreshadowing.
So I'm in awe of the Lord. So the fear of the Lord is to hate evil. So wisdom is saying to fear the Lord. And you know what? That term, fear of the Lord, is in other books of the Bible as well.
Yeah.
At the end of...
It's the bumper sticker.
At the end of two of the most difficult books to understand in the Bible, Kohelet or Ecclesiastes and Eov or Job, the book of Job, it says, and the fear of the Lord is the solution or is the greatest achievement that one can have. And that's to be in awe of the Lord and recognize that you are small and you know nothing.
I think 20th century man, or at least my milieu, doesn't understand the word fear and doesn't understand the word God.
I would agree with you, but you know what?
And myself included.
Okay, but I think God is a catch-all phrase. In Hebrew, we use the term Hashem, which is the name. But God is a catch-all phrase that we elevate to the Creator, the first cause, and it's something beyond my comprehension. But we call Him God.
You mentioned beyond your comprehension, and I think
I try.
And I think that means it's time for a commercial break.
Sure.
You like that?
That was a good segue.
That's my whole talent. That's all I know how to do.
Our company is committed to providing truthful, honest, competent, and result-oriented service through advising and representing our clients in Canada and overseas in a wide range of immigration matters. We focus on providing support, building dependable relationships, and promoting success. We are dedicated to understanding what results you want and to helping you understand what actions we can take on your
With the Wisdom Show, and without further ado, my buddy Gord Acom.
Okay, Bruce. So here we are. Wisdom is in the room with us. She has introduced herself to us in 12, Ani Chochma. 13, she's saying, the fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride and arrogancy, and the evil way. So we have to hate that and be modest, I think, is what it's telling us, that you shouldn't be arrogant if you are to gain wisdom. And the froward mouth do I hate. That's someone that I believe someone that speaks ignorance, like just nonsense.
You know, I have in English, treacherous fickleness.
Treacherous fickleness. Okay. Don't be fickle. If you're going to say something, let it be meaningful. So then 14 says, counsel is mine and sound wisdom. I am understanding, power is mine. So, you know, if you have knowledge and wisdom, that is power. That is power. And wisdom is counsel. And then she differentiates, by me, kings reign, and princes decree justice. So I get the sense that differentiates from the next stanza where she says, by me princes rule and nobles, even all the judges of the earth. So one is more of a kingship environment where you've just got kings and princes. And the second one I take is probably more of a democracy where you might have a king or a figurehead at the top, but you've got nobles, which are bright men, men of stature, and judges of the earth. So
I'm counting 5. Wise planning is mine. Kings is second. Rulers is third. Princes is fourth. And nobles is fifth. And judges is sixth.
Okay.
So if we had time and viewers at home, this is the challenge, to get a better understanding of these 6 definitions of leaders of society.
Mm-hmm. I'm just going to go back to verse number 13. Cincino has commentary where we said the fear of the Lord is to hate evil. Cincino's commentary says an important declaration of the fundamental purpose of religion is to say fear of the Lord and to have awe of the Lord. And that's interesting, to call that a fundamental purpose of religion. So we're going to move on now.
Drop a bomb and run away.
Yeah, well, because we already did that stanza. So we're on 17 now, where I think wisdom is going to conclude this section. And she's going to say, I love them that love me, and those that seek me earnestly shall find me. So wisdom loves people that love wisdom. That's someone that has an appreciation for knowledge and to be wise. I think we all know people like that. Like
still water runs deep. Those people.
Yeah, like some people just speak arrogance and I know everything and don't consider what those who came before them said.
I gotta go now.
And but wisdom loves people who love wisdom. And
you ever hear someone say the camera loves her?
Does the camera love you, Bruce?
And focus now.
And those that seek wisdom, that seek me earnestly. What do you think that's saying? Like, you can be sincere, or you can just speak and read books and gain knowledge to say, I know more than you, but I would think that's not earnest and that's not sincere. So let's move on. And then in 18, we've already had silver, gold, and rubies, but now wisdom is saying, riches and honor are with me, yea, enduring riches and righteousness. My fruit is better than gold. So she's getting back into gold. Yea, than fine gold. And my produce than choice silver.
Hold on. You see, I've got fruit and produce here?
Yes.
It's
interesting how...
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And 20 is, I walk in the way of righteousness. So, but there... We had gold and silver repeated again in 18 and 19. Yeah. And wisdom is saying, riches and honor are with me. She's saying, if you have wisdom, you'll get, like, if you come to wisdom, you'll gain honor. You don't want to force honor upon others, but you'll gain honor. Honor comes naturally with wisdom. And wisdom's fruit is like gold and silver.
You know, there's a phrase, I don't know where I got it from. It's Perkiavis or maybe somewhere. Let me see if I can remember. Respect or honor, COVID. Sorry.
Not COVID. Don't misunderstand that.
In Hebrew,
Kavod
is honor or respect. I said COVID. Unbelievable. Honor runs away from those who chase after it, but honor clings to those who run away from it. Am I saying it right?
Yeah, I get I understand what you're saying, and wisdom says honor comes with having wisdom, and her fruit is better than gold. To have wisdom, it's better than gold, and it's better than silver. And here she says in 20, I walk in the way of righteousness, in the midst of the paths of justice. So righteousness and tzedek umishpat, they go hand in hand.
Has it got mish? Oh, there it is. Tzedek umishpat.
Yeah, in Hebrew.
Where's that cut out? In the davening, in the prayer?
Yes, we do say that. So 21, that I may cause those that love me to inherit substance. I see this as being a summary of 18 through 20. So again, we've got riches and honor and gold and silver, but she says in 21 that I may cause those that love me, those that love wisdom, will inherit substance. So is it the substance? And this is a question I'm going to put to you in the audience. Is it to inherit a substance of gold and silver, like wealth like that? Or is maybe she getting to something else? Is she talking about the world to come, Olam Haba?
Oh, very nice.
You know, it's like
nice.
If you have wisdom and you gain a spiritual existence through wisdom, are you creating a soul that can transcend? And, you know, the physical items like gold and silver and rubies, they just stay in this world. They don't transcend.
So let me challenge you. What I'm reading.
Sure.
Divine grace will also operate so as to fill their treasuries with bounty far beyond any calculation what has been earned and deserved. He's not saying
I understand.
He's saying material wealth.
I understand. And Judaism, I don't think, or the Bible, I don't think looks down upon a righteous person who acquires wealth through the course of their life, through their wisdom. And there's nothing evil per se in acquiring wealth. It's how you use your wealth and the wisdom that you have around the wealth. So I don't see anything evil or negative about wealth. But when I read that I may cause those that love me, that love wisdom, to inherit substance, yes, maybe it is to inherit wealth, but I like to think of it as you inherit substance, a soul existence, something that is spiritual that can go beyond this world. When we're inheriting, it's going beyond this world to the world to come, to heaven, that can transcend the physical. That's how I want to think.
So here's my point. I don't care what you want to put in. I care what the words say.
Mm-hmm. That's how it speaks to me.
I'm more strict.
Okay.
If it said it, and there's a sage or a commentator that said it, fine. But I'm just looking at the one, he says, it ain't about heaven, cutie pie. It's about...
Okay.
So
well, you know what? We looked at it from various angles, and
there's a danger of putting your own 2 cents in.
I hear you, and I don't mean to offend anybody.
I'm offended, Gordon.
I apologize.
And because I'm offended, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to a commercial so I can thrash him out purposely. I want to take it away.
Our company is committed to providing truthful, honest, competent, and result-oriented service through advising and representing our clients in Canada and overseas in a wide range of immigration matters. We focus on providing support, building dependable relationships, and promoting success. We are dedicated to understanding what results you want and to helping you understand what actions we can take on your behalf.
ladies and gentlemen, we're back to the Wisdom Show. It's getting hot and sweaty in here.
Well, not hot like last week. This is all good wisdom.
Gord, take it away.
Okay, so thank you for keeping me honest to the word of the text, Bruce, and not reading in my own, but I shared some thoughts that I had. So now, wisdom is telling us where she came from, and it reminds me of a story. Around the time of my son's bar mitzvah, my son asked me a question, and I thought I knew a lot of the Bible. And you know, the first line in the Torah in the Bible, it says, "Breshit bara Hashem et hashamayim ve'et haaretz," and which is, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And my son's question was, what came before? What happened before?
Did you smack
the
him?
creation? And I said, I paused and I said, wow, that was a good question. It's like, when I was in school, I just this is where we start and this is where we're going to go forward from. But I never thought of it that way.
Your son's smarter than you are. Congratulations.
Well, I hope so. I paid for his education. No, it's an interesting, and you know, we in integers and numbers, we have 0, 1, 2, 3, but there's also a negative one. So in a way, negative one is before creation. And so here, wisdom is saying, the Lord hath made me as the beginnings of his way. So if what does that mean? I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning. So wisdom was there. And it says in the commentary that I have here, wisdom was created by God before the universe, because he, that is God, ordained for her a part in his creative work which changed chaos into order. Accordingly, wisdom is a cosmic power, the all-encompassing intelligent will of God manifesting itself in the creation and preservation of the world, and as an eternal and unerring guide and ruler of mankind. What do you think of that, Bruce?
You know, it now challenges. I would have said a moment ago, wisdom is in the order of psychology. Now I'm seeing it's saying it's in the realm of astrophysics. And using a word like astrophysics and psychology is weak, but it's all I got.
Astrophysics, metaphysics, psychology. I think wisdom is telling us that at the point of creation of the world, wisdom was there at the beginning. And then if we go in stanzas 24 through 25, I think wisdom's giving us kind of like a play-by-play of what happened in the days of creation. Wisdom's saying, when there were no depths, I was brought forth. So wisdom was there. When there were no fountains abounding with water, before the mountains were settled, before the hills was I brought forth. So wisdom was there in the creation of the mountains, of the hills, of the land, of the water, of the fountains. Wisdom was there. While as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the beginning of the dust of the world, matter, wisdom was there. When he established the heavens, I was there. When he set a circle upon the face of the deep, wisdom was there. When he made firm the skies above, when the fountains of the deep showed their might, when he gave to the sea his decree, that the waters should not transgress his commandment, when he appointed the foundations of the earth. In all those things, wisdom was present. So to me, that's kind of like a recounting of all the things that happened in the first 6 days of creation.
If we did, this is what I would foresee. If I did a chart, how do you say, in the Genesis on one side, and this chapter on the other side, I would go nuts footnoting to make the parallels.
References,
It would be a fool's errand to make the references.
Without wisdom or with wisdom?
No, with what you see is what you. I would
Yeah.
see. I would start out with noble intentions, a deep an intellectual exercise to write an essay, and I would give up. I would give up a third of the way through because it would be too heavy.
That's
Because this is almost paint. This is word painting.
yes.
And I'm not. I'm just saying. How can I put it? I don't have the wherewithal to appreciate the depth of this, of either the in the beginning or in the Book of Proverbs.
I understand what you're saying, but to me, those, what we just described in 24 through 29, those are all items that one way or another got created by God in those first 6 days of creation. And the message that's coming to me is that wisdom was there through that time. And
See, I'm a literalist. I want like the American Constitution. I want to see literal, and I see this slaps me in the face. Okay, literalist boy, you can't do it here.
But in 27, when he established the heavens, I was there. She's coming right out and saying, I was there.
I'm not challenging the veracity. I'm challenging the difficulty of understanding it.
Well,
I don't. I think it's.
Bruce,
I'm giving up.
Bruce, you have more wisdom to attain.
Okay, a little more.
And then in 30, we move forward. Then I was by him.
You recognize it? Okay, sorry.
Wisdom saying, I was there with God as a nursling. So God was the superior, and I was a nursling at the tit of God. You know, nursing at God, and I was daily all delight, playing always before Him. So this was a joyous time, perhaps saying before the flood, perhaps, you know. Everything was joy, all was good. There was just potential. This was all before man went and ruined everything. Screwed it all up, yes. Playing in his habitable earth, and my delights are with the sons of man. So now we have the sons of man introduced to...
We had a few verses, 20 verses earlier.
Right, but now, like, this part here is dealing with the realm of creation and wisdom being there, and now man's introduced to creation and wisdom. So wisdom's there with delights with the sons of man. Now, therefore, ye children, hearken unto me.
Just hold a second.
Sure.
The end of 31. I'm wondering if it's suggesting just as much as wisdom is a child of the creation, so too are men. A second, a sibling, as it were.
Well, my delights, in my commentary, says, the pleasure which wisdom experienced during the period of creation was subsequently transferred to the human race, the crown of God's designs. Therefore, she offers herself as a guide that men may discover true happiness in this world. Hence, the coming plea. So it's saying something big is coming. So wisdom was there with God at creation, and like a nursling at God, and how wonderful it all was before man came. And then man arrives, and wisdom has the potential to offer this goodness and happiness, and man can play in the Garden of Eden, which is what God created.
Oh, you know what I'm seeing? God is the parent, wisdom is the first child. The first child grows up and is now the parent to man. That's just leaping out at me.
Okay. Now, therefore, ye children, wisdom saying, hearken unto me. So there's a change happening here.
Well, it's a new paragraph,
in the text.
at least.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's a change happening. For happy are they that keep my ways. So if you have wisdom and you lead a life of gaining wisdom, you are going to be happy,
It's a promise.
which is a promise, yeah. And wisdom's giving us instructions on how to live our lives. And what's the next line? Hear instructions and be wise and refuse it not. So, child, student, mankind, where there is wisdom, where there is instruction from a good teacher, either life experience or an actual teacher, and Sensino calls it Musser. Listen to instruction and be wise, and refuse it not. Don't refuse good instruction. Seek it out and gain wisdom.
If I'm not mistaken, Musser in earlier chapters defines itself as moral instruction.
Morality, to lead a moral life, is to be full of wisdom, sure. Happy is the man that hearketh to me. So again, happiness. You're going to be happy if you gain wisdom.
I got some whiteout. Would you white out hearketh and write and listen?
Hearkeneth.
Hearkeneth and write and listen. Ladies and gentlemen, you got an old English translation? Burn the damn thing.
Watching daily at my gates, waiting at the posts of my doors. So
Guess what this is comparable to?
we're back to the beginning and using wisdom is out in the open, at the gates of the city, at the doors. For now, here is the conclusion of our chapter 8. And it's a strong, hard-hitting conclusion. Bruce, are you ready for it?
No.
Okay.
Can we give up now?
No. This is, I think this is like the conclusion of the first book, but we still have another chapter in the first book, but here it is. So wisdom has just told us how to find happiness and how to gain wisdom and to seek instruction and how to be happy and where happiness is. Now, 35. For whoso findeth me findeth life, and obtaineth favor of the Lord. Okay, so if you find wisdom, you're going to find life, and you're going to gain favor of the Lord. However, the other side of that, but he that misseth me, that doesn't have wisdom, wrongeth his own soul. So it's, if you misseth wisdom, you wrongeth your own soul, making it personal. And they that hate me, those that hate wisdom, love death. Wow.
Allahu Akbar.
And you know what? That kind of reminds me of a line in the Bible in Deuteronomy where it says, I have set before you life and death, the blessing and curse. You shall choose life and live. It kind of echoes that,
There's almost a brutal truth aspect to the book. As flowery as it is, there's a brutal truth beating down here.
Well, we said it most, but think of it practically. If you're somebody that does things without life experience and you just go and do, you're likely to kill yourself. Like if you drive a car without knowing how to drive it, you're probably going to seek death sooner than later.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have concluded in record time the chapter, and I've got a couple notes to read. The Wisdom Show, hosted by yours truly, Bruce Gilboard, airs every Friday, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Tom's Radio. That's the trademark of multiculturalism. We're our secret scroll-laden wisdom cave. Don't tell anyone.
Well, you know what, Bruce? Before you go, I learned today here at the Wisdom Show. Bruce has such. I asked Bruce, what is that? And Bruce informed me, we have all the scrolls of the Old Testament of the. It's beautiful.
From before creation.
It's such a beautiful studio. It's so conducive to learning.
Getting these scrolls in here was murder. Let me tell you.
I'm sure, but Bruce, that was a lot of fun, and I must thank you because I gained wisdom from doing.
Well,
this.
I have something that I have our guests work with me. Here's something. Host, have you learned something wise today?
Most certainly, yes.
Do you think we made humanity better today?
Absolutely. I'm speaking for humanity right now.
Did you have fun in our secret scroll-laden wisdom cave?
It was amazing.
Will you join us again one day soon?
If I'm invited. I went off the script there.
Go to the script. Guest says.
Probably not.
Oh, God help me. Will they ever learn wisdom?
Probably not, but I think people do. And I'm an optimist there. I think people can learn wisdom.
Host, please, folks. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the share button. The whole reason I'm here is to share the wisdom. That's all I ask.
And I hope everybody had fun. And host, by the way, when reading, don't say host.
I know. What can I do?
Have a wonderful weekend.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it was
Thank you
a
very
pleasure.
much.
See you next week, Friday, 2 p.m. Hasta la vista, babies.
Take care.
You're so